This looks like a normal soccer ball, but during the World Cup, it is also evidence. Inside the official 2026 World Cup ball, TRIONDA, there is a motion sensor sending data hundreds of times every second. Not once per second, not 10 times per second, around 500 times per second. So, the most argued about object in football is no longer just air, panels, and vibes. It is a flying sensor package. And that is funny because fans will scream about passion, destiny, and the spirit of the game, while the ball is quietly sitting there like, I have time-stamped the crime scene, but the weird part is not that they put a chip inside. The weird part is where they put it. Because the moment you add electronics to a ball, you create a physics problem. How do you measure motion without ruining the motion you are trying to measure? That is the whole story. FIFA and Adidas describe the connected ball system as a 500 Hertz inertial measurement unit. IMU is just the engineering name for a tiny device that measures motion, like acceleration and rotation. So when the ball is kicked, clipped, spun, or touched, the sensor can capture tiny changes in motion and send ball data to the video assistant referee system. That matters because one of the hardest parts of offside is not always where the player was. It is when the ball was played. A tiny timing difference can change everything. A player can go from onside to offside because the pass happened a fraction earlier. So the ball becomes a timestamp, not a referee, not a robot judge, a timestamp. And this is where fans lose their minds. Because fans do not experience football as data, they experience it as emotion. You see a goal, you scream, and then VAR says, actually, there was a microscopic touch before that pass. That feels horrible. But as engineering, it is fascinating. Football is trying to turn a chaotic physical moment into a measurable event. Now here is where it gets stranger. Adidas says TRIONDA uses a side-mounted chip system with the 500 Hz chip placed inside a special layer in one of the 4 panels. Read that like an engineer. They put the sensor in one side of a ball. That sounds like a terrible idea. If you taped a coin to one side of a basketball, you would expect it to feel wrong. It might wobble or rotate weirdly. So, Adidas says they added counterbalances across the other 3 panels to preserve balance and stability. Now, the soccer ball has become a tiny spacecraft problem. Not because it goes to space. Relax, because the design question is similar. How do you place hardware inside a moving object without corrupting the motion? In a drone, off-center weight makes the controller fight the body. In a ball, bad balance gets exposed instantly. Physics does not care that this is the biggest tournament on Earth. If the ball is unbalanced, it will snitch. And the chip is only half the story. The outside matters too. TRIONDA uses a 4-panel construction with deep seams and surface textures. Adidas says those details help with stability, drag, and grip. That sounds like marketing until you remember what air does. A soccer ball is not flying through nothing. It is pushing through air, spinning, slowing down, and leaving a messy wake behind it. Tiny surface details can change how predictable the ball feels. Football learned this the painful way with the 2010 Jabulani. A ball players complained moved unpredictably. Every World Cup ball is secretly a physics experiment. And this one adds a sensor. That is the real story. Technology wants precision. Fans want justice. But precision and justice do not always feel the same. A correct call can still feel cruel. A technically impressive system can still make everyone angry. Because this is not only about football, it is about what happens when ordinary objects become data sources. Cars are sensor platforms. Phones already are. Watches measure your body. Satellites measure Earth. And now a soccer ball measures the moment it was touched. The ball does not understand drama. It does not know a stadium just erupted. It does not know a country is about to be heartbroken. It measures motion. Then that data gets combined with cameras, player tracking, software, human officials, and rules. That is sensor fusion. Multiple imperfect ways of seeing the world combined into one decision. So yes, this is a football video, but it is also a future of engineering video because the most interesting technologies do not always arrive looking like robots or rockets. Sometimes they arrive as objects everyone already understands. Simple on the outside, measurement system on the inside, So the next time someone says it is just a ball, they are technically wrong in the most interesting way possible. It is a ball. It is a sensor. It is an aerodynamic object. It is a piece of evidence. And for a few weeks, it might be the most important flying computer on Earth.